Luke portrayed himself as the fun times. He had plenty of photos on there of alcohol, of him partying, of being drunk. When I looked at the messages between Kayleigh and Luke, there were messages there which gave me cause for concern. One of the things he said which stuck out was, "Can I kidnap you forever?" And he was very forward. He was suggesting meeting up. But it was clear the two of them didn't know each other. When these messages were seen, Luke was quickly traced, and police officers went round to see him.
A 24-year-old student, Jyoti, is on a sightseeing trip to London. Wherever she goes, she gets as much attention as the biggest attractions.
When I go outside, then everyone gathers together and stares at me. Then I feel a bit strange, but at the same time, it feels good that they all look at me.
In our last episode, we met Sultan Kosin, the world's tallest man. Sultan is so tall because his body produces too much growth hormone. For Jyoti, the opposite is true.
That's quite weird. I mean, that's quite a claustrophobic feeling. So that's your world now. For 9 hours or more, this is my world.
Well, if it had a thermometer in there, it would never got above zero, that's for sure. It was cold. There was no good taking a flask, because at around about 20,000 feet or more, it used to freeze up anyhow. They gave you a bar of chocolate, but that froze so hard you couldn't even chew it. You couldn't stand, couldn't do it. All you could do was move like this. That's all you could do.
The Mafia's skill at exploiting human weaknesses gave them an opportunity to snare the future president of the United States.
And what this whole thing smells of is that even as early as when he was running for the presidency, that the Mafia saw a way to get its hooks into this important politician who might be headed for the White House.
They contributed to his election campaign, and they'd paid for his personal pleasures. But JFK seemed oblivious to the risks. In his mind, sex and politics were completely separate.
Looks like a real skull, but actually it's an extraordinarily lifelike work of art made of marble. This must have made a stunning centrepiece on the imperial dining table. Rich Romans loved the idea of eat, drink and be merry, because tomorrow you'll die. But if you put it back in the context of the imperial court, there are more sinister messages. For a start, there's the violence of the emperor himself. Anyone sitting round this, at the imperial dining table, must have been aware that their lives hung on a knife edge, that they could be flavour of the month 1 minute and dead the next. The best advice was never to let your feelings show. Keep poker-faced. And there's a horrible story of an imperial princess who's dining one evening with her brother. He keels over, dead, probably poisoned. What does she do? What all good imperial princesses should do. She just goes on eating.
In preparation for life outside, its yolk sac has been drawn into its abdomen. A toughened horn-like piece of skin has developed on their snouts for this one moment in their lives. The young use this egg tooth to cut their way out. Its sole purpose served. It will be reabsorbed in the next few weeks.